Welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back to BARNO. Hope you are doing fantastically well. Ready for another video. Bit of a sit-down one, chill one, and a bit more of discussion, opinions, and chat about the next football future stars. This is always a very, very big topic within football of who are the next breakthrough stars that are going to go on and have very successful careers. In this video here, I've picked out 5 that really do stand out to me. Got some stats about them, the way that they're playing at the minute, what they could go on with their careers. And also, with this video too, you can agree, you can disagree, and also put in other names in the comment section down below. Please do, because there are so many names you can put in this list. I'm not going completely biased, by the way. It's not just going to be all Liverpool players. I have thrown one in there, obviously, for very good reason, which I will explain, you may understand. But we will crack on in this video. But if you are new to the channel of BARNO, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Keep telling everybody, goal this year is 1,000 subs. I'm going to keep smashing out as many videos as I can, but 1,000 subs by the end of the year, and we're literally closing on 420 already. Honestly, the love, a lot of people liking the channel at the minute, and also last week as well, all of the Champions League, obviously over the Premier League this weekend. Shout out, big up everyone tuning into the live streams. We've had a right cracking week, some great laughs, some awful results because Liverpool lost to Galatasaray midweek, which wasn't great. But there's been a lot of people in there as well with some great opinions, great takes on footy, and just great conversation. I love chatting football to anyone and everyone, so thank you for all of that. Apart from that, let's dive into this video, break down the 5 future stars that BARNO thinks are going to the very, very top in world football. First one that really is going to stand out for me currently, and I think he's making a lot of headlines at the minute within social media and all the news outlets currently. We've also definitely within the Bundesliga. If you don't know who he is, though, I will explain. This is 19-year-old Jan Diamonde, a Leipzig right-wing player who has had a cracking season so far. I mean, 10 goals, 5 assists. The lad is 19, fearless on that right-wing channel. He's got some great players to play in and around him in that RB Leipzig team, but he is definitely carrying them in the attack so far this season. He came from Leganes in La Liga last season, not a great season out there. He played a handful of games. He's come to Leipzig, and my God, has he taken the Bundesliga by storm. Now, realistically, if you take the Bundesliga by storm being that age, and also the fact that the numbers he's currently outputting on the field, and his dribbling ability and confidence is second to none too, you're going to get the big clubs knocking on the door and getting your name out immediately. Liverpool, us, we have been strongly, I say strongly linked, not like heavily linked, but there's a lot of chatter depending on what happens with Salah. Is Jan Diamonde our perfect Salah replacement? In my current head, I think potentially he definitely could be the man to do the job. Granted, he is only 19 and still learning, but he is a future talent. Also, the fact with Jan, because he's playing in the Bundesliga as well, and we know how the Bundesliga tends to work. Bayern Munich usually look at the teams below them and will try and pinch the best players. And the only reason I think Bayern Munich might pinch up Jan Diamonde, it only depends on what happens with Michael Elise, who they've currently got on the right wing, who is absolutely cracking player, by the way. Unbelievable season with Munich. But I feel like, because Elise is on the last year of his contract, if Elise moves out of Bayern Munich to a different club, I think you'd see Bayern Munich completely knocking on Leipzig's door, paying a big fee, and getting Jan Diamonde into that football team. I mean, the lad's already played at AFCON as well, Diamonde. He played at the most recent AFCON, so he's already getting national team call-ups. The guy is clearly experienced enough to be in national team football, and I mean, he's playing week in, week out for Leipzig, so he really is a part of a big future talent on that right-wing channel. I mean, there's obviously wingers in football everyone loves to watch because, you know, wingers create goals, assists, and they have a lot of pace in them as well. It's always kind of cool when you see a 1v1 situation and a winger's completely beat his man. He's gone down the wing and he's like, see you later, mate, I'm gone. He is one of them players, technical ability, dribbling ability, pace, he can score, he can create. He's one of them wingers that I just think is going to go to the very, very top on the right wing channel. And if we get him at Liverpool, I'd be very, very happy. I mean, I've watched a couple of his goals and he knows how to score goals, this kid. So my number 5, or my first choice, is Jan Diamonde at RB Leipzig. Second one, I mean, I'm backing one of my own players here. And no, it's not Rio Engamoa. Not a lot of people would probably put a shout saying, well, Rio Engamoa's hitting the map. He's making names at the minute. He's had a couple good performances for Liverpool when he's played. I'm not going to stick with Engamoa, even though he does get an honourable mention for me. I'm more very excited for when he comes back from his injury is Giovanni Leone, who we signed from Parma for about £35 million last summer window. Leone unfortunately picked up an ACL after a cup game, after a 70-minute cameo against Southampton at home, which was really, really horrible to watch. You know, he's only a 19-year-old centre-back. Getting a young defender as confident, as composed as him on the ball, and him picking up an injury like that was absolutely devastating. I mean, Leone, for me personally, when I watched him in that game, he's one of these centre-backs, because even though he's such a young centre-back, normally with young centre-backs, they kind of want to have a bit of a veteran centre-back beside him, just to help him out a little bit in-game. And also the fact, so he can play like an easy pass off to him. You know, if he's struggling a little bit under pressure, he just wants to play the easy pass back to a keeper, back to a centre-back. Leone never really did that. He will literally pick up the ball, drive it, he can pass under pressure, he can take pressure, he can win a foul. And also with Leone as well, his aerial duel threat. He's 6'5". Like, he is a tall centre-back. Aerial duel threat, he'll probably come out on top of a lot of aerial duels. And if we can get his attacking element into the game, like set-piece delivery, and he's in the box at 6'5", genuinely, I believe Leone is going to be one of the next best defenders in world football. With Leone as well, because he came over from Serie A, with Parma, it was a very interesting signature at the time, because when I was reading through Italian journalists on Twitter, etc., Leone's career path was never really supposed to leave Italy, if that makes sense. He was supposed to obviously stay at Parma for another year or two, get better at, well, development into football, get more experience, then maybe sign for what I call the big fish in Serie A. So he would have signed for maybe like AC Milan, Inter Milan, Napoli, Lazio, Juventus, one of the big ones, go into that team, have a very long-standing career within Serie A, and also maybe a potential future captain. I've seen a couple of reports that they're saying that Giovanni Leone potentially could be a future captain of the Italian national football team at some point. I believe he's already been picked before for the Italian national football team. I'm not surprised. From watching him for 70 minutes, for a lad that's that confident on the ball, who just drives into midfield like no tomorrow, isn't worried about being under pressure, says it all. But that's usually Italian defenders as well. They always are very confident, very calm, and very composed when they have possession of the football. But with Leone, yeah, I'm very, very excited when he comes back for his injury. I'm not too sure when. Obviously, he did pick up an ACL, which is probably the worst of the bunch due to football injuries. But his rehab apparently has gone absolutely fantastic, and he's really making a strong effort to get back in that Liverpool team as soon as possible. But I really think for centre-backs in the next 10 years, I think Leone is definitely going for the top. Don't know how long he's going to be at Liverpool for, though. You know, you never know. He might have a couple cracking seasons with us, and then another big club, someone else might come flying in for him, and we end up selling him. You just never know. You can't predict the future in football. You can only live in the present. But my second choice is definitely going to have to be our centre-back that we've got, Giovanni Leone. Number 3, we're going to move it to the French League and turn it over to LOSC Lille. Now, this player here is a central midfielder and potentially could be one of the future stars in the French midfield in years to come. Obviously, the French midfield at the minute, you have got like Camavinga, Chouameni. You've got a couple of ageing players in that midfield as well. You know, Rabiot slowly getting on a little bit, and you're going to need to replace these players and get brand new, fresh talents that can take over the French midfielder sooner than later. This lad right here who plays for Lille is called Ouyab Bouadi. He's an 18-year-old central midfielder that basically plays week in, week out for Lille at 18 years old, which is absolutely crazy. He's got the same story as Lenny Yoro. He came through Lille's B team, or reserve team as they call them, in a bit of a lower French league. Developed through there, promoted to the first team, then playing week in, week out. It's the same thing that happened with Lenny Yoro. Lenny Yoro went from Lille B into the main team, played week in, week out. Turns out he's an exceptional talent, and Lenny Yoro is now signed at Man United, doing a half-decent job at the minute. I think the same thing will happen with Bouadi. He's confident, he's composed on the football, he's learning as he goes along. His discipline does let him down slightly, I think, just because he's had a lot of bookings, but he's still learning. You know, an 18-year-old midfielder playing week in, week out in a European league. Not easy, and he gets the job done. I think the best thing with Bouadi as well is who he's learning off. You know, he's learning off Benjamin Andre, a veteran in defensive midfield in the French league. Benjamin Andre is now 35 years old. I mean, midweek, Bouadi, did come on at half-time because Andre actually got injured. So I'm going to watch 45 minutes of Bouadi against Villa, and he played a decent game. He's a lad who's really confident, composed, picks the right pass most of the time. Defensive work, he can put in a good tackle. All-round game. I just think as a French midfield, they're going to need a couple midfielders coming into their national team in the next couple of years. Obviously, they've got talents already. I just think he might be the next big one for that team. He might be able to switch his allegiance. He is half Moroccan, so you never know. He could be a Moroccan's next biggest talented midfield. You never know, because obviously some players do get to choose their nations if they have the opportunity. So Bouadi could be part of the Moroccan team. He could be part of the French national team. But he's a midfielder I genuinely think could be going to the very top very, very soon if he keeps going the way he's going. Obviously, depending with Lille as well, we could see more of him if they can get past Villa next week in the Europa League. I don't think they will. But if not, he might stick out another couple of seasons at Lille. And now you never know. You might get a couple of big names knocking on the door. Maybe in the French League, you know, PSG might come calling around. He might go abroad. He could be in the Premier League. You just never know. But my number 3 pick is Ayoub Bouadi from LOSC Lille. 4th pick, and we're getting into the proper gritty section of this video. The next 2 I'm going to give out here are the ones I am very, very, very excited to see how their careers pan out. The next one I am going to talk about, though, I think a lot of people may already know who he is, but if you don't know who he is, this is Nico Paz, who currently plays for Como in Serie A. Now, Como is ran by, or managed, sorry, by Cesc Fabregas, who got Como promoted from Serie B to Serie A a couple seasons ago, and this season Como are exceeding all expectations and are currently charging for a place within European football. Whether they get Champions League, whether they get Conference League, it looks like they will get European football. And the man at the helm that's created a lot of goals and scored a lot of goals is Nico Paz. Now, Nico Paz is only 21. I mean, 9 goals, 6 assists in already this season. He pulls a lot of strings, and his defensive work and attributes are fantastic as well. The guy knows how to win a tackle, but also his goal scoring ability is second to none. Now, the story is with Nico Paz coming to the end of this season, I don't know what will happen, because he came through Real Madrid's Castilla team. Now, Real Madrid Castilla team is their reserve side that plays in a lower league in Spain, and I believe Real Madrid do have a buyback clause on him. So after what they've seen of Nico Paz this season and all the cracking players Madrid have already got, I feel like they might get Nico Paz back at Madrid just to add another potential superstar to the starting 11 at Real Madrid. He is a fantastic player, Nico Paz. He's so confident, composed on the football, never in doubt, always picks the right pass, and his creative element is fantastic. He mainly plays as more as like a number 10 midfield role. You can play him as a winger, but he genuinely, in Serie A, one of the biggest future talents. I mean, as Young Player of the Year award goes in Serie A, if they do have one, which I imagine they do, I think Nico Paz has to get that. I mean, the way that Como are going this season, exceptional season Como are having. I mean, some of the results they've pulled out, they've done the double over Juve this season. Against the big teams, they're turning up. And I'm really excited to see if Como do get European football next season on Fabregas. I'm kind of hoping that Fabregas does stay and Nico Paz stays, and then we can see the best of Nico Paz in a European competition, and also Serie A, but horribly, I just think Real Madrid are going to bring him back and get him into their first team with where he's going. With the statement he's making at Como, can't see why Real Madrid are not going to bring him home and bring him back. But the 4th pick in this video is Nico Paz, the 21-year-old Argentinian attacking midfielder. Final pick, my number 1 choice. A lot of people probably won't know who this player is, basically because of the club he actually plays for at the minute and the league he currently plays in. Now, we're going to move it over to Austria. Now, Austria have Red Bull Salzburg, and if you don't know who Red Bull Salzburg are, they usually just bring in youthful talents all around Europe, all around the world, develop them into world-class football players eventually. The amount of players that have gone through that Salzburg team that have gone to do massive things, like at the minute you've got to think about Haaland was Salzburg, Sesko was Salzburg, Soboslai, Salzburg, Adeyemi, Salzburg. They have a whole host of talents that they have developed and turned into amazing football players. And the next one, I genuinely think there's a winger who is going to the top of world football. I don't want to get his name incorrect because it's quite a long name, but he's a Bosnian winger and he's only 18, and his name is Kerim Alabegovic. Now, Kerim was signed only just this season. He's only 18, he's just coming to the club, but my God, this is a kid I think that's going to the very top. I've never seen a winger like him in my life. Now, a lot of people might have seen him the other week because Salzburg played Villa away in the Europa League, and Kerim played an absolute blinder. I think he was the best player on the pitch for Salzburg on that evening. Dribbling ability, brilliant. He wins a lot of fouls as well, so he can get you good field position. And he assisted in that game too. But as a dribbling winger, full of confidence, he's going to take on his man every time in a 1v1 situation. Kerim is the absolute guy for that job. I mean, his Austria Bundesliga season. Austria Bundesliga isn't always the most competitive football league in worldwide football. I'll be honest, Salzburg do tend to normally win the league because of the amazing football talents they have in that squad. But he's got 7 goals and 2 assists in the Salzburg League, the Austrian Bundesliga so far. And he's got 1 or 2 or 3 goal involvements in the Europa League, even though Europa League, they did drop out and even make the qualification stage. But genuinely, if you want a winger that's going to the very top that I can think end up at any football club worldwide, Kerim Alabegovic is going to be that man. I've spoken to a couple of people already, a couple that actually have seen and watched him play in his highlight reels. They agree with me. He genuinely thinks that this tricky winger, with Kerim as well, he's Bosnian. He's already actually been called up to the national team and played minutes in the national team at 18 years old, which is absolutely insane. The fact he's already playing for the national team, playing for Salzburg week in, week out, I think Kerim might be making a move soon, or a club will buy his signature. I think the main one for me, I could see the Bundesliga maybe calling his name. You don't know with him, you know, any club could come calling, but it's how Salzburg are kind of run. I mean, that's, with Salzburg, their directors, their scouts, they go all around the world, they go all around Europe, they buy in these exceptional, young, talented footballers they think can go to the very top, buy them in for, you know, short prices because they're only young and still developing, and then they just sell them off for usually quite hefty profits normally. I mean, if anyone knows Patson Daka, plays at Leicester City. Patson Daka was bought in at Salzburg for £220,000, sold for 20 million quid. So you can kind of see how they make very good money. And obviously I said the other ones before, like Sobo Haaland, like even like Minamino when he played for us, he was class. But I just think this lad right here, the left wing channel, Kerim Alabegovic, I'm just going to say remember that name. You're going to see him make headlines and break through within the next couple seasons in world football. So lo and behold, that's the 5 players I have picked, future stars that I think are going to the very, very top within football. Put your comment section down below as well. Obviously, there's a lot of honourable mentions you could put in this video. Obviously, I would like to, want to say Engamo, obviously, is one. You already got ones that are already performing, like Yamal, Nico O'Reilly. I know there's an RB Leipzig midfielder called Uengu. I can't pronounce that name correctly, but I've seen he might be on the map soon. But there are so many good future star players out there that are going to go to the top in world football. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, remember to like, comment, and subscribe and get BARNO to 1,000 subs by the end of this year. I've hoped you enjoyed this video. I'll see you on another vlog very, very soon.